while I am thinking about it. So just like we've done the past, nice. Hannah says Caroline is with me. Thank you for letting me know. Just like we've done in the past with the couple of Zoom meetings we've had, I am going to record them, and then after class is over with, I'll send the recording out to everybody so that you have it if you want to watch it, or for those of for our classmates not able to join us today. I think the track and field team might be gone, so we might have some people out for that. But good morning, everybody. Okay, well, it is 11 a.m., so we are going to go ahead and get started. So for your homework, you guys have problem 4.1a and problem 4.3a, okay? Now, 4.1a, the information is in the book. It gives it to you. We've already done 4.1b together, so we've already gotten practice with that one together. But today I want to do 4.3b because, again, you guys have problem 4.3a for your homework. And so I want to do problem 4.3b together so we get some practice with that and we see how to do that. So first of all, let me share my screen with you. It looks like Alejo just joined us. Hi there. Maddie's connecting now. Hi there, Maddie. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I want to show you where to find the information for problem 4.3a, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to get Brightspace pulled up. Okay. So here's our Brightspace course, right? I'm in Brightspace. Here's our Brightspace course. If you go to content and then you go to chapter 4, you'll see the file here for problem 4.3a. Now, you don't have to use the Excel file, but you do need this information here, okay? So problem 4.3a, basically, it gives us the entire worksheet filled out. It gives us the trial balance, the adjustments, the adjusted trial balance, the income statement columns, the balance sheet columns. It gives us the entire worksheet filled out. And what we need to do is we need to do the adjusting entries, and we can see the adjustments here in the adjustment column, right? But we need to actually record the adjustments. And then once we record the adjustments, we have to prepare the financial statement. So again, you don't have to use this file, but you do need the information off of it, okay? And so there it is for you, problem 4.3a. And again, we're about to do 4.3b, so we're about to work through the problem. We're about to see, you know, how we do the problem. I am recording this, so I'm going to send the recording out to everybody. We're going to do problem 4.3b. Again, the entire worksheet's filled out. We need to journalize the adjusting entries. That's our first step. Journalize the adjusting entries and then prepare the financial statements. Okay. So even if you're not going to download this and use this Excel file that's given to you, you still need the information off of it. Does that make sense to everybody where we get the numbers for problem 4.3a? Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Well, let me get problem 4.3b pulled up, and then we're going to work through problem 4.3b together. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen for Brightspace, and I am going to share. Hello again, everybody. Good morning. And I'm going to share the file for problem 4.3b. Okay, so here is 4.3b. So again, 4.3a, right? 4.3a, one of your homework problems. You have the file exactly like this in Brightspace, right? So once you download it or once you look at that information in Brightspace, it's going to look exactly like this. And you can see here, this is our 10-column worksheet, completely filled out already, right? All the numbers are in here already. So what it's asking us to do for our problem, and by the way, I can turn to it in our book and tell you what page it's on. Problem 43B. Problem 43B, Juarez Designs. It's actually on page 188 of our textbook. But it says, number one, first step, journalize. Are you okay? Goodness. Journalize the adjusting entries. That's our first step, okay? So here in the green columns, we can see all of our adjusting entries, and they are labeled by letter, okay? So all we need to do is match up the debits and the credits with the letters that they correspond to, right? So step one, and I'm going to type this out for us. Step one, journalize adjusting entries. Journalize adjusting entries. Okay. And so our first one here, letter A, if we look here at letter A, and let me get my pen out real quick. For letter A, we have a debit to insurance expense, right? A credit to prepaid insurance up here. Do we see those, right? Debit to insurance expense, credit to prepaid insurance. So for the letter A adjusting entry, we are debiting insurance expense for 155, crediting prepaid insurance for 155. And again, it gives us both of those, right? Here I can put them in red font maybe as we go through and do them so we can see there was letter A. Debit to insurance expense, credit to prepaid insurance. Okay, and again, this is problem 41B, right? This is problem 41B. 43B, problem. I'm not very good at writing with this thing here. Problem 43B, right? Just like 43A. Gives you the worksheet completely filled out. Our first step is to journalize the adjusting entries, which again, all the adjusting entries are here in the green column. We just got to match up the letters. Okay. Does everybody see what we're doing? Any questions about that? Hi, Haley's. Haley Mendenhall said Haley Harrington is here with me, so that's awesome. The Haley's squared. Okay, letter B. All right, letter B. If we look here, letter B is what? A debit to depreciation expense on the design furnishings, a credit to accumulated depreciation on the design furnishings. So again, it's giving us the entry. We just got to match up the letters. So debit, depreciation expense on the design furnishings. 510. Credit, accumulated depreciation for the design furnishings. 510. All right, again, there are the accounts. They gave them to us. We just need to journalize it. So we did this one, we'll turn it red. We did this one, we'll turn it red. Okay, so we've done both of those. All right, what's our next one here? Letter C. So actually, letter C and letter D are going to be exactly the same as B, right? They're just different assets that we're depreciating, but the adjusting entries are exactly the same. So letter C, we're debiting depreciation expense, but it's going to be depreciation expense for letter C is on the office furniture. We're debiting that for 370, crediting accumulated depreciation for the office furniture, 370. Okay, and again, we can see both of those right here, right? There's the depreciation expense for the office furniture. There's the depreciation the accumulated depreciation for the office furniture. Okay, letter D, exactly the same. Again, it's just depreciation expense now, letter D for the truck. So let's turn this one red. We just did this one. We debited depreciation expense office furniture. We credited accumulated depreciation. All right, so letter D now is debit depreciation expense for what? A truck. This is for 645. And then we're crediting, oops, hot dog. Crediting accumulated depreciation for this truck. Okay, and again, that was letter D. We saw the debit to the depreciation expense for the truck, credit to accumulated depreciation for the truck. Okay, so we journalized that adjusting entry. I'm going to turn it red. Let's see, what do we have next here? Letter E. So letter E, again, if we match it up, letter E, we've got debit to salary expense, credit to salaries payable. So there's our debit and credit for letter E. Debit salaries expense, 450, credit salaries payable, 450. Okay, that was letter E. We debited salary expense. We credited salaries payable. Okay, one more adjusting entry here left to journalize, and it is for the supplies account. So we see here letter F, debit to supplies expense. And then up here, letter F, credit to the supplies asset account. So we've got debit supplies expense, 300, credit that supplies asset account, 300. That's what that one looked like. So that was step one, right? Again, this is problem 4.3b, right? This is problem 4.3b. You guys have problem 4.3a, right? Remember we looked at in Brightspace where we find under the chapter 4 content where we find the 4.3a information. We can look at that again together in case anybody has joined us after, right? We looked at that, but this is step one. Journalize the adjusting entries. Any questions about this step so far? Okay, because again, the problem gives you all of the, the entire worksheet filled out, right? When you download that information or you look at that information in Brightspace, just like this worksheet, it's all filled out already. We just need to journalize the adjusting entries and then prepare the financial statements. Are we good with that? Any questions? Looking okay. All right. Well, let's do step 2 then. Step 2, prepare an income statement. So we'll go down here. We'll do step 2. Step 2, income statement. Now, I'm not going to put the title and everything on it. You guys know at this point that the financial statement should have a 3-line title, right? Name of the company, type of financial statement, date, right, at which it's being prepared. In this case, on this problem, what are these? These are for month ended March. So it'd be March 31st or whatever. But, you know, again, I'm not going to waste time putting the title. We're just going to plug numbers in. So remember, the income statement is revenue minus expenses equals net income. Here's our revenue account. Up here, it's this professional fees, right? So professional fees, we can see that professional fees account. And remember, on these worksheets, just like they're set up just like a trial balance. So after professional fees, you know, generally speaking, will just be our expenses, right? So anyway, revenue, we've got professional fees of what, 16,282. Uh-oh, it selected that entire highlight. No, don't do that. I'll just type it in. Professional fees are up here, right? 16,282 is our number we need. Okay, so that's our only revenue account, right? Above revenue is owner drawings, and below revenue again starts our expenses. So that's what we're going to type in next here, expenses. So our first one, salaries expense. And you know what I'm going to do just to save a little bit of time? I am going to copy these, paste them into here. And it wants me to extend the column a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, so salaries expense, and I got to scroll back up here now. Salaries expense equals, if we look here at our, you know, again, we're looking at our income statement columns. We could use the adjusted trial balance columns or the income statement columns, but 2717. Rent expense right below it equals 1864. Travel expense equals 840. Utilities expense equals 434. Advertising expense, where are we at there? 942. And you know what I'm going to do so it doesn't take up so much space? I'm going to put ad expense. And then instead of typing out miscellaneous, just MISC. Maybe so it doesn't, yeah, make the lines so thick. Okay. And then miscellaneous expense equals 122. All right, and then we have a few more expenses down here, right, that we did with our adjusting entries. We can select those, copy those. Again, I'm just doing that to save me a little bit of time typing it all up. And of course, every single one of them are take up, you know, a lot of letters in them, so they're taking up a good amount of space, but that's okay. That doesn't really matter. So insurance expense, again, we go here, line 21, right? This is our insurance expense, and then all of our other expenses below that. So insurance expense, we did our adjusting entry, that's 155. Depreciation expense on design furnishings, again, right below that, that's our 510. Depreciation expense on office furnishings, that's the 370. Depreciation expense on the truck, that's our 645. And then salaries payable, that actually does not belong. I know that was mixed in with our with our adjusting entries, but that doesn't belong on the income statement, right? We just are listing our expenses. Okay, so then supplies expense was 300 is what we did our adjusting entry for. Okay, so there's our revenue and expenses. Since we've got all of our expenses listed here now, we can go ahead. I don't know why. There we go. It's not selecting the whole thing. We can go ahead and total them up, right? So we can have our next line, total expenses equals the sum of all of our expenses. So from E44 down to E54. So we've got total expenses. Why that's pulling that over like that. That's better, I think. Okay. Total expenses, 8,899. And we can verify that because, you know, again, this is our income statement columns up here, right? And if we look right here at our these are our income statement columns. If we look, here's our total expenses, right? And so we know that that matches now what we've just calculated down here, total expenses. All right, so the very last line, we've got net income equal to revenue minus expenses. So net income, $7,383. Net income. Okay. And again, we already knew that from our worksheet. If we look here, remember when we do our worksheet, net income, difference between the debits or the expenses on the worksheet and the credits or the revenues, right? And that's what we just did on our income statement. So that 7383 from our worksheet matches now the 7383 we calculated for net income. All right, so step one was the adjusting entries. Again, we just journalized the adjusting entries because it gave us all this information on the worksheet, right? We just had to journalize the adjusting entries. Now, step two, we've done the income statement. Any questions about that so far? Looking okay? All right. So step three is the statement of owner's equity. So that's what we're doing next here. And I'm going to erase this red line here to get it out of our way. So step three is statement of owner equity. Remember, owner equity is our owner capital account, right? Owner equity. All right, so remember, we always start with beginning balance in capital. And if we scroll up here, we had a beginning balance in capital. If we look at our, and let me get my highlighter back out. If we look at our worksheet, right? Here's the owner capital, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight the owner drawing too, right? Here's all of those owner equity accounts, right? Because we need the capital, we need the drawing, we need the net income. So there they are. All right, so we had a beginning balance. I'm just going to scroll as much as I can up here. So we had a beginning balance in capital of 14,300. That was our beginning balance in capital. And then right below that, we're going to say add net income. And again, we just calculated our net income on our income statement, right? So add net income, it equals 7383. That's what we calculated on our income statement. So at this point, we would be at a balance of beginning plus net income. So at that point, we'd be at a balance of 21,683. And then remember our next step, less owner drawing. Owner drawings, if we scroll back up here and look, owner drawings were 2,400, it looks like, on our worksheet, 2,400. So ending balance in capital equals our 21,683 minus 2,400. 19,283 is our ending balance in owner equity. Okay, so now we've done our income statement. Well, we've done our adjusting entries. We journalized our adjusting entries, right? Now, step 2, we did our income statement. Step 3, our statement of owner's equity. Any questions about any of these so far? We've got one more step, as you may have imagined, the balance sheet, right? That's our last step, the balance sheet. But any questions about what we've done so far, guys and gals? Okay. So then lastly, again, looking at our worksheet, we've got our balance sheet columns here, right? That's columns 9 and 10 of the worksheet. I was trying to circle them in red here, right? Our last 2 columns of the balance sheet. And so most of our balance sheet accounts are up here at the top, but remember, we do got this salaries payable that's going to go on there too, down here. Kind of, you know, that was added with our adjusting entries, so down toward the bottom. So, okay, let's do this. Balance sheet, step 4. I keep hearing the dog barking, and Chloe's not letting him in. Chloe, can you let Oscar in, please? I hear him barking. Good grief. Okay, balance sheet. So on our balance sheet, we're going to list our assets first. And again, just to make life a little bit easier on me, I'm going to just highlight these asset accounts. So basically, our asset accounts go from cash down to accumulated depreciation on the truck. So I'm going to copy these. Paste them down here. Again, we're looking at our balance sheet now. Let's see if I can paste them without them looking funky. Yeah, no, that looks funky. There we go. That's better. Okay, so there are our asset accounts. And so cash, and I'm going to have to keep kind of going back up and down for this, but that's okay. So cash, if we go up here, very top, cash, we've got $4,587, right? So cash, $4,587. Supplies, and again, I apologize, I'm gonna have to keep kind of scrolling up and down. Supplies, we've got $180. Prepaid insurance, we've got $1,705. Okay, design furnishings. Now we're getting into our assets that we're depreciating. So I'm going to put it off to the side here. So design furnishings are on our worksheet at 13,824. So 13,824. But now we have accumulated depreciation on those design furnishings. If we go up here, accumulated depreciation on the design furnishings is 13,292. It's right here, and I can scroll back over and prove it, you know. But right here, right? Accumulated depreciation on design furnishings. So we can see that there, but 13,292. Okay, let me go back over. 13,292. So the book value of this asset is just a few $100s, actually. So remember, book value is the original cost of the asset minus accumulated depreciation. So the book value is only $532. And that's what we want to use for our, you know, to total up our assets. We want the book value. Same thing for the office furniture and the truck, right? So office furniture, and I wish I had a little bit more space between these, but that's okay. Let me go ahead and I'll put a line underneath of it to kind of help separate it. Did I do it? No, I don't think I did. Darn it. Bottom border. Okay, so now office furniture, same thing. We want the original cost of the office furniture. In this case, and I know that it's a little bit hard to see it, but if we're looking here, again, here's that office furniture with the accumulated depreciation for the office furniture. So we had office furniture of 5673 was our original cost. Was it 73 or 93? I already forgot, darn it. 73, 5673. And then underneath that, we had accumulated depreciation, $2,054, $2,054. So again, for our total asset calculation, we want the book value. The book value is the original cost of the asset minus accumulated depreciation. So book value is $3,619 for that office furniture. Okay. Kind of separate this with a border here. All right, and then the last asset, which is a depreciable asset as well, is truck. So if we scroll back up here and we're looking at our worksheet, here's that truck asset with the accumulated depreciation below it. So the truck asset had an original cost of 24,394. We've depreciated 13,020. So let's go down here, 24,394. 24,394. And then I got to scroll back up. Accumulated depreciation was 13020. All right, so book value for this truck, again, original cost of the truck minus accumulated depreciation, book value 11,374. Okay, so now we can total them up, right? So we've got total assets equal to our cash plus our supplies plus our prepaid insurance plus our book value of the design furnishings, book value of the office furniture, book value of the truck. So $21,997. Oscar, are you serious? Good. The dog is in here with me. Good grief. Good. Okay. And again, we're using our book values, right? All three of these numbers, these were called our book values. That's the original cost of the asset minus accumulated depreciation. So that's our last step, the balance sheet. But we, again, we know with the balance sheet, we need assets to equal liabilities and equity. So we need to total up our liabilities and equity next. But any questions about this asset section? Looking okay? All right, so let's do our liabilities. And in this example, what do we have? We only have two liabilities. So we've got accounts payable, and I will go ahead and highlight these, right? We've got accounts payable, $22.64, and then we have salaries payable, $450. Those are our only two liabilities. And again, your problem is going to be exactly the same, right? So I'm just going to type these in, accounts payable. And then underneath of it, salaries payable. And for AP, if we scroll back up here, 2,264 for salaries payable, 450. All right, so our total liabilities, 2,264 plus 450. Total liabilities are 2,714 liabilities. Okay. And then lastly, equity. And again, we calculated our ending balance in owner's equity, right? Our capital account. We calculated that on our statement of owner's equity. That's what we want to use for our equity section. Owner capital. We've got owner capital 19,283. So the very last line of our balance sheet, total liabilities plus equity. Does it equal? Let's see, total liabilities plus equity. 21,997, right? Just like it should. Okay, so again, just like our accounting equation tells us it should, total assets equal total liabilities plus equity, right? That basic accounting equation. All right. There is our last step completed, right? The balance sheet. Any questions about this balance sheet while we've got it pulled up and zoomed in on? We're okay. So remember, this was problem 4.3b. You guys have problem 4.3a for your homework. Let me zoom out of this so you can kind of look at the whole thing. So again, when you download your problem 4.3a homework, it's going to be a completed worksheet just like this. And then from the information in the worksheet, you do step 1, you journalize the adjusting entries, right? That's what we did here. And then you do step 2, income statement, what we did here. Step 3, statement of owner's equity. Step 4, balance sheet. So now we can kind of see it zoomed out, the entire problem. Any questions about this? It makes sense. We all know exactly what to do. what we're doing. Okay, let me stop sharing this real quick. Hello again, everybody. Hi there. And I'm going to show you one more time where we find this information in Brightspace, because I showed that at the beginning of the recording or the beginning of the class. And so in case anybody joined us afterwards, so let me share my screen with you again and get this pulled up. Okay, so now you should be seeing the Brightspace account, right? So this is our Brightspace course, Principles of Financial Accounting. And you want to go to Content. And then you want to go to Chapter 4. And then it's at the very top, Problem 4.3a. And again, you can see it here, the worksheet already completed and filled out, just like we were working on. If we download this, I can pull it up and show you, but since it's going to be downloaded in Excel, I think I'm going to have to stop sharing this screen and now pull it up in Excel. Here we go. See, this is the worksheet that you guys have in Brightspace, right? So if you download it, this is what it looks like. This is problem 4.3a, right? This is problem 4.3a. And you do the exact same thing as we just did. You journalize the adjusting entries, prepare income statement, statement of owner's equity, balance sheet. Any questions about this? Okay. Trevor, is that okay with you? Trevor emailed me about it, but I figured since we were going to talk about it in class today, that I would wait to do it then. I think it makes more sense seeing it, but any questions about that? Anybody? Okay, guys. Well, you enjoy the rest, and gals, you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.